Tesla Life with our host, Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tesla Life show number 300. 300 shows in the catalog already. Yeah, exactly. Get the cheer going. That's a lot of shows. So welcome to show 300, everyone. And we've got a ton of news, as per usual. No surprise there. My friend Casey Green joins us with his friendly neighborhood baby that just happened to be traveling by the studio. And if Casey loses audio, you know why, because Moto's got a firm grip on that wire.
Snip.
Welcome, everyone. Who we got in the chat room? We got Volcano Girl first in. We got David Watts following in second. Join us in the live stream and chat with us throughout the show. And
welcome.
Exactly. Mr. Patrick Connor will not be joining us this evening, but he will be back next week. So hello to Patrick if you're out there, and hope you're working to make the world free from fossil fuels. So we'll get that out early.
Making it future
exactly.
Free from fossil fuels.
Exactly.
And now we can't forget.
That's right. Can't forget it now. It's already out. Casey, you've got the first story, and it is about Giga Mexico.
There's a lot of stories hitting about Giga Mexico, but this one we're going to discuss. Yeah. And they're almost all good news too. Like, hey, here's why the site's available. Here's what could have been, but it's actually this instead because it's better. Blah blah blah. But what we're going to talk about today is how Tesla does these reforestation plans for all of their factories, or not say forestation in the case of Giga Texas, but ecological mitigation of their footprint there, and Mexico has a certain amount of reforestation required by law, and Tesla's going to more than double that in order to meet their own goals. So that is impressive. Take that, Berliners.
Yeah, take that, Berlin. Tesla's going to plant the extra trees they were going to plant at Giga Berlin and plant them in Mexico instead. So
no, they're still doing it in Berlin too. Berlin is getting 5 times the number of trees removed as native species. So instead of that stupid cardboard forest, they actually get native German trees that should have been there in the first place instead of the tree farm. And they're still complaining.
Yeah, did you see the paint bomb thrown at the Tesla Berlin store?
No.
Yeah, there was.
Now they got to wash it off with more water, and
exactly.
Guess what's in that water now?
More water that they're trying to conserve. Yeah, there was someone threw a paint bomb at the Tesla sign at one of the Berlin area stores. So I don't know. I don't get it. We need the world to transition to fossil fuel. Yeah. There has to be that push. Germany should know this more than anybody after the recent issue with Russia and using nothing but natural gas for a long time. They've got to get off of it. And Tesla's providing the ability to move those cars off of liquid fuel. They should be jumping at this opportunity. I don't understand it.
Imagine where they'd be if instead of trying to invent fake gas, they would have just put that R&D into EVs and hydrogen cars. Versus, here's some artificial gasoline. Now we're at net zero, okay, but net zero is still too much.
And it's $50 a gallon anyways. So what's the point?
That's the other part.
It's crazy. From this? It's absolutely crazy. Just another note about Giga Mexico that we started with was, did you know that they got the land from before Six Flags did?
Right. That was one of the ones I mentioned.
That was kind of interesting. That
is a much better use of the land.
So they were going to use it for possibly an amusement park, or that's what Six Flags was proposing. But Tesla got the jump on them and took the land when they could. So
which part of Six Flags went out of business? Like, or did they just do one of them restructuring bankruptcies?
I gotta believe that they did some sort of restructuring.
That sucks to be somebody they owe money to, and then they're like, we're still in business. It was not so bad if they're gone. It's like, oh well. But they come back and like, I'm never doing business with them.
Exactly.
Not even as a customer.
Well, next, there was a warning email sent out to Tesla employees this week, and it was alerting employees only, to the possibility that Tesla may lose part of the federal IRA credit that they're currently receiving.
Probably all of it on the base model.
Yeah, for the base model, all of it. Yeah. So that's a $7,500 hit if you are unaware. But the reason for this, of course, is that the IRA's rules have been in flux since it was started in January, and there was going to be an update come the end of the first quarter. They had assumed, and now here we are at the end of the first quarter, and the rules haven't still been published. We're still waiting to hear the actual official rules, but the thought is that there's going to be a lockdown on the battery, where it's made and where it gets its materials from, and that certainly is going to affect Tesla because currently all Model 3 base cars are using the LFP battery from China.
Yep. So it doesn't have American manufacturer, it doesn't have American parts or partners, and then you've got Senator Manchin especially out there drumming up what the goal of the program is, and I agree with the outward part of that statement. Yes, that's not the goal. However, they were supposed to have a phase in, and it wasn't just the 3 months for phase in. They're supposed to have a phase in on this process to give the manufacturers a chance to move their production, because you can't snap your fingers and have a factory appear in the States or a friendly country. If it's in China, if it's in Korea or wherever, you're gonna need at least a year to shut it down, move it, or make a new one, and then side load it and get it ready to go. You can't just expect it to happen that fast.
Right. So you're not going to build a factory in 3 months, let alone plan one.
Right. Exactly.
So it's something that, but again, the IRA rules have spurred more companies to move in that direction, to have manufacturing and production within the continental U.S. as well as its free trade partners, and it certainly is spurred a lot of investment. It's been successful, if not wildly successful, to this point. So hopefully there is a rumor that Tesla may bring back to the order books the long range Model 3, which of course has batteries that are made in Nevada. And that may allow them to collect or allow the people that order the car to collect a credit, even though it will be more expensive, of course, than the base car. So
I wonder if they can do the mid-range and use the LG cells, because LG is still touting that they are certified partner of Tesla among many other battery manufacturers.
Yeah, I gotta believe that Tesla is looking high and low as to what they can do to help spur any of the models to collect.
That's probably the reason for this email.
Yeah. So it's something that they wanted people to know. So if you are out there sitting on the fence thinking that you're going to get a base car, now's the time to go to the Tesla website and look for cars that are already made in your area that you could pick up, because there's a possibility you may lose that chance, that $7,500 tax credit. Again, limited to your financial situation and, of course, your taxation information as well. But it's something that you should act upon now if you've been thinking about it.
Yeah, if it was already on the plans, just slide them up. This is what we keep saying constantly with Tesla. This one's not just Tesla, and it's not Tesla's fault this time. But if you see something you like with Tesla, and you have the means to make it happen, just make it happen, because they are going to change in a couple weeks, regardless. And the changes, you may like the changes better. Oops, oh well, get it on the next one. But a lot of times they do stuff that you might not like. Like now Mark is out there having to run the passenger lumbar a couple times a week because Elon said nobody uses it, and they removed it. And
somebody in Ontario uses it all the time.
Exactly. So in this case, it's the government doing it, and so it's not just the base Model 3 at this point. It's the Model 3 and then some other cars that were kind of just skating on through. If the things happens, then there's going to be several models from several manufacturers that will no longer qualify or half qualify or however they were getting in. And also, since Mr. Manchin is the one that's pushing this, he was also the one that was pushing closing the leasing loophole, which again, that was one of the cases where I agreed with what he said, but again, it happened so quickly that it was hard for them to adjust. But basically, if you had a car that didn't qualify, like a Lucid, a higher trim Tesla, an Audi, anything that was just too high in price or didn't qualify on the manufacturer side, like the Hyundais, because they're from Korea, you were able to lease it or do it as a company car and then take the credit. I assume he's going to push for that to be closed at the same time that he makes the batteries instantly must qualify, rather than the 1 to 2 year phase in they were originally giving them lip service so they could comfortably move the factory instead of having a mad dash to the States.
This is hearsay, but of course Tesla has sent this out in a letter to employees. We haven't heard anything else beyond that, and of course it's coming up to the end of the month. But it'll be interesting to see if that actually does become the new law, or if there will be another grace period extension. We're really not sure. But when you send a letter out to your employees, it seems to say that they may know something that's coming down the pipe.
Right, and it's not just Tesla salespeople and employees that are getting this. Like I've heard a little bit from other manufacturers, both at the sales and manufacturer level, like, hey, we don't know what's going on. Be ready for this. And it's, say you already have a Tesla and you just watch this to keep up, but you were looking at another car for somebody else in the family. Same situation. If it barely qualifies, consider completing that purchase.
Yeah. Okay, next I am going to share a video which is going to blow your mind. Let me tell you.
I had a car crash video the other day that they locked my video for.
Get a load of this. This is a Model 3 that has had a parking violation, obviously, because they've been tire locked by somebody. So this guy gets in his white Model 3 and decides that doesn't really matter. He's going to leave anyways, whether or not his tire is locked.
Poor car. I went through so much in this video.
That is painful. Let me tell you, that is painful to watch.
And then shortly after that, it got a set of like 16-foot wagon wheels, and then it spent some time driving upside down, and then the abuse continued.
Oh man! So so that's part of that YouTube channel that had the wagon wheels on it as well.
Absolutely, David. It sure is.
That is just insane. But obviously, it's done for clicks, and they don't care what happens to the hardware. They're just after clicks. But
I showed it to my wife, and she's like, "Man, he must have enough money per video to be able to buy a used Model 3 and abuse the heck out of it."
Oh man, you'd have to have tens of millions of followers. It has and watchers for that matter, because it doesn't. The followers don't matter. It's how many people watch.
I mean, they matter, but not for the money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
The poor guy who thought he was getting himself a free Model 3 in that video, man.
Or he was renting it on Turo, and then you get to see that. Could you imagine that?
Yeah, if somebody modified and then crashed my car on Turo, we'd have words.
Oh man!
And I'd have a brand new one for the tax credit ran out.
Yep. Next, Casey's got a story for us about extended warranties.
Yes.
What's
So
going on with that?
since the time I got my Model S, and shortly before that, Tesla had what they called an extended service agreement, aka extended warranty. Now, it was always a hassle to try and obtain this thing. You had to be the first owner. You had to be inside the main warranty, actually both warranties, and then you had to contact service, who would contact whoever inside a Tesla, and they'd write you up a quote for anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000, $8,000 for a 2-year or 4-year extended service agreement. And this wasn't like your regular warranty. It has a deductible, and it doesn't cover everything. But there's new technology, especially back on the 2015, 2016 models. They were just starting to get their groove, and it was a nice process, but not a nice process, but a nice product, a nice service. And so then what happened recently is there was an app update. Of course, there was an app update, and now you can do all of this yourself without having to do the mucky muck runaround. The car already knows. It's already attached to the mothership. Your app is talking to the same mothership, and it can look and say, "Hey, Casey's out of warranty. Don't offer him this stuff. Mark's out of warranty. Don't offer him this stuff. Oh, hey, you just got that Model 3 in time for the insurance credit or the tax credit. Would you like an extended service agreement?" And they'll get you your quote in your local currency, and you can pick your 2 or 4 years right there. Just like the original one, you cannot extend it. So if you get the 2 years and you need it for, you're SOL. If you get the 4 and you sell the car, then the next person's got an extra 2 years of warranty. But that was pretty nice because you get a price quote and you can do it in the middle of the night, and you don't have to deal with all the back and forth from service. And they've probably tweaked some of the terms in it as well in order for everybody to call it brand new.
I think the maximum though is 2 years, right? The time frame.
They didn't offer the 4 this time?
Nope, 2 is it.
Oh, the price matched the 4. That was my problem.
Yeah, that's a nice.
So they raised the prices and they don't offer 4 anymore.
Yeah. So that's an issue. The other issue, of course, is a lot of people that bought the Model 3 upon its release, they are currently out of this because the time frame has gone past, and there are no exceptions on the time frame or the mileage.
If you go over about 1 mile, they close it.
You're out of luck. So
and if you're the second owner, you don't see it either.
So
second or third.
I'm kind of disappointed with this offering. It's come late, and again, it's kind of pricey for 2 years.
Well, I mean, other than the price change and being able to get it in the app, it doesn't seem that much has changed. So,
well, that's a big change. The price has gone up to what the 4-year used to be.
Right, that part.
Yeah, and it's only good for 2 years now. So
right. And I bet you some of the terms, like if you read the fine print about what's covered and not covered, I bet you they cover
it's less. Not everything. Everything is not covered. It's not like your bumper-to-bumper 4-year warranty that you get when you buy the car. It's
right. It's more of a peace of mind insurance deal.
Yeah.
What I suggested on Sunday was not just these guys, but these just the ones I was looking at for mine. Is the XL warranties, like Accelerate. There's a bunch of people out there offering it. Just make sure that it's a legit company. Like, see if anybody in your local club has used them, and then there's an option for you if you want an extended warranty. Or what Patrick will probably suggest to you is just sock away $20 a week into an account, and then when it's at what you would consider a most expensive repair, then just stop putting in $20 a week, and you're good in a savings account or similar.
That would be my suggestion as well.
Then you'll get a deductible.
If you want a warranty, just sock away a few bucks every week or a set amount a month, and put it in a separate account if you have to, and just let it grow. And then when you get one of those unexpected repairs, you've got yourself a little insurance fund already topped up. So
it's making interest, and then if you switch cars, you don't even need to build it up again. You just
continue along with it. Yeah,
exactly. Derek's confirming those 2 years, and he's also ineligible. And because just like us, he got his car kind of early.
Yep.
In the 5-year crew.
That's right.
What's funny to me is I think that both of your cars are older than mine, but yours aren't considered legacy like mine is.
They soon will be. It's not too long, man. It's coming. It's coming.
Yes.
But next got some hacker news that Casey's going to share with us.
So in the past, we've talked about how Tesla takes cybersecurity very seriously, and how when they got their cybersecurity person from Apple, she kind of stopped everything. She's like, "Hey, until everything is code signed and secured, we're not pushing any more updates." And so, since the whole point of the thing at the time was that you got to update every month or two, Tesla got real boiled down and they locked it down. And they've always had a bug bounty program and a tip line where you could tell them, hey, if you click in the corner of the browser 18 times where it says page can't be displayed, you get full access to the car. I'm making something up, so if that works, don't blame me. You might have noticed that one of the updates that we got pushed over cellular after they stopped doing cellular updates for our cars was a security update. There was a at this same competition, Pwn to Own, a couple of years ago. There was an exploit where if somebody tricked you into going to the wrong website, they could control your browser and your music on the MCU, and that was one probably more based on the way that Tesla responded, because like overnight we all got an update oversell, so there was probably more than they were saying.
More than what they were telling us, yeah.
Yeah. And so with this program is in the past they'll still today they'll give you money based on how severe your bug is and how widespread and easy it is to do. Like obviously if you need to get in and type the drive to pin to drive and have the key or key card, etc. To start it, they'll consider that to be not as easy to accomplish. And if it's something that you can do by as we saw a few years ago, somebody walking by with the key, and you could get into the car that way. They updated the key. Like it was pretty severe. But at these competitions, they take it a step further. So at the Pwn to Own and a few others they participate in, they'll also offer the car that you hack as a prize. So this team, they got a Model 3. This isn't the first time they've done it either. Most of them have been Model 3s. They got a $100,000 prize and the Model 3 that they hacked.
Which, of course, is a security flawed car.
Right. It's like you gotta fix it yourself.
They're the ones that bricked it.
You better hope you're taking notes.
They go, here's the car that you've completely disabled. Now you get to haul it off the stage because it's not moving.
Right. The tweets that I saw where they announced that they had themselves it wasn't like a Tesla demo unit, because they have these for both service training and they used to have them for teaching the customers. They have like an MCU on a stand, but these guys they made their own stands. So they had an MCU screen and an MCU with all kinds of like tap wires connected to it, and then they were able to get in. I don't think it says what they did to do it, but basically what happens here is part of the reason that you're getting the money and the car, or just the money, depending on what you select it. You're agreeing to give them the blueprint on how to do what you did. You're agreeing not to disclose it until they've got a significant portion of the fleet patched. And so I'm guessing in a few weeks we'll find out exactly how they did it. Because that's the other thing, is once it is patched, they are allowed to write up generally what they did to fix it. So sometimes it is a longer NDA. Most of these I've seen later. Oh yeah, you go here, you do this, and they're like, oh, by the way, don't even waste your time trying it, because they fixed it right after we told them.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep. Oh,
so this of course is great for Tesla, because it allows them to go outside the normal security that they're testing for, their developers test for, allowing others to be to look for holes in the software. And of course, Tesla benefits from it. Yeah, they give away a car, they give away a cash prize, but that could be a lot less than if a major security problem went out there amongst the fleet, and you've got you've got tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of cars that could be affected. So it's a small price to pay to keep your security up to date, and to attract hackers, white hat hackers, really, that are on top of their game, and basically they're providing some insight into exploits that they're seeing in their world, and Tesla may not be aware of them. So
yeah, they don't get to go to any of the parties, unfortunately. But they do get the job recruiting, and then they also do get the cash for submitting stuff. David asked if it was an injection attack, right? I'm not sure if it was an injection attack, but it was a use after signing or use after. Basically, the timestamp went by, and then they used it again, and so that's not good. And so now Tesla's looking to make sure that you're not showing them the same token twice. Like,
Yeah.
Bob goes through, and then Bob goes through again, but he's got long hair and doesn't look like the guy in the picture anymore. It's like, let me see that badge again.
It's got to be legit. It's got to be legit.
Exactly. Hello, JT.
Next, we're going to head off to Mexico, and we are going to check out this little photo. Actually, a few of them. This is a Cancun resort, and you'll notice that they've got some blockish looking superchargers.
It looks like a Gen 1 that's been updated a little bit.
Exactly.
But it's also too narrow to be a Gen 1. Is it a level 2 that's been styled?
I thought it was a level 5, maybe. I thought Tesla was going in a completely different direction.
They ordered their supercharger on wish.com.
But this Cancun resort, if we get a little closer, has decided to create their own out of concrete.
Concrete.
This is a concrete Tesla supercharger. Obviously not, but it's got a wall connector on the inside.
I wonder if they put it in the map for the destination program.
They might have. I don't know the actual Cancun resort. This was just shared with on the web with a few pictures of this, and you can tell it's hand painted. The S and the L definitely, and then of course it's got a J1772 plug. So it'll work with any car. But
that's got to be in the destination program. I don't know that it was very easy to obtain that one with the J1772 without being in the program.
Well, anyone can order it. It's just whether or not you register it for the destination program, right?
Well, a couple times it was only available to them, though, right? I mean, I know it's been on the store a couple of times.
Yeah, it has been in the store a few times. So I don't know. That's if anyone recognizes this particular resort,
there's got to be somebody in the audience who knows how to do that.
Let us know. Then we can look it up on the Tesla map and see what we can find out about it. But I have to say, it's a pretty good facsimile of it. And it gets the point across as to what they're doing. So very cool.
On that Tesla J1772, it does open the charge port when you push the button, right?
Excellent question. I am not sure if it does.
I'd like to know.
I don't think there's even any of those in my area. I've never seen one in real life. I know that there's a few of them listed on PlugShare, but none in my area. So I've never tried one.
All the ones I've seen were not they were the Clipper Creek models. So of course they wouldn't do it.
Yeah. So that's kind of interesting, but there we've got somebody that is pushing out their own superchargers, which is great.
Oh, that'd be awesome, JT. If you get one of them bros that likes to knock over the superchargers, and he tries it, bust his truck up.
Bust the truck is right.
It won't work the same as a mobile charger. No, it'll actually work exactly like the wall connectors, except it's got the wrong end on it for a Tesla, so you'll have to use your adapter. But it also allows them to allow anybody to park at their resort without having to get a Tesla tap.
Yeah.
Or invent the magic dock again.
Yeah. Next story, I want to talk a little bit about, Roadster batteries. So the original Roadster that has been out now for about 15 years, I believe. The saga of the Roadster is when it first came out, it had a 200-mile claimed battery pack that came with the car, okay? And then after a few years, Tesla had improved upon its technology about 5 years later, and they had decided to release a battery 2.0 for the Roadster that they were offering, which basically doubled the mileage to almost 400 miles. Certainly a healthy charge for them to swap that battery. What has been found out lately is a number of the Roadster updated battery packs, that is the 400-mile pack that was advertised.
The 3.0?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So
because they updated it twice.
There has been an issue that some of them are starting to demonstrate end of life problems with the battery packs. So
that was recent. That was like 2016, right?
2016 was what? When it was put out? Yeah, it was only
the 3.0 update.
It's under 10 years for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and those are LG cells in the 3.0. If that makes a difference to anybody.
So there is a couple of Tesla Roadster specialist companies out there, especially in Southern California and Central California, that deal with the Roadsters almost exclusively for Tesla owners. And they discovered, this third party had discovered that they were getting reports about this upgraded battery having this issue. And they have actually reached out to Tesla themselves to report on the different vehicles that have had this issue. And Tesla has actually taken in one of these cars to see what's been going on and why the pack is prematurely starting to show the signs of death. So they've taken one of these cars in to examine what they can find out, and hopefully there can be some sort of an update to fix this. I'd hate to see somebody's car that they spent the money on the upgraded battery to only get 8 years out of it. The other part of this, the ironic part, is the Roadsters with the original battery that never got the update, they're basically running fine. There's no issues with those, and those cars, as mentioned, are getting into the 15-year period. So there's definitely something they did with the upgraded battery that is not faring as well as the original battery did. So anybody out there with a Roadster, just beware if you've got that upgraded battery.
Yeah, the original Roadster batteries were Panasonic, just like all the other cars after it, right? Well, not all, but up until they went for diversity in battery supplier.
Right.
And then the upgrade pack is LG. LG is going to have, if this is their fault too, they're going to have a hard time in the market because.
Well, yeah,
they turned up all the bolts.
The bolt problem they have, and of course LG also supplied the Kona, a number of Konas. So that would be a black eye,
the Chrysler,
black eye for them.
The Chrysler van, yeah.
So have not heard any problems with the Chrysler van.
I have. A friend of mine has burnt up a little bit.
Okay.
And they try to say.
And again, the van battery's a lot smaller too. Like it's not as large.
Significantly smaller.
Yeah.
Well, than these are, but it was about the same size as our Volt battery, though, right? 16 kilowatt hours.
Right. But that's certainly smaller than a Chevy Bolt or certainly a Roadster. But it's something to keep your eye on if you have a Roadster. But obviously, since Tesla is really not servicing the Roadster anymore in the service phase, you're probably going to one of those specialty third-party groups already. So you're probably quite aware of it.
There are a few shops inside Tesla that still do it, but man, they'll take your money. The specialty shops, they're not cheap either, but at least these are the people who actually did the work on building it and repairing it all through its life. And then most of these sprung up during Tesla's many 10% cut off people, regardless of who they are, where they come from.
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of interesting to know.
Yeah, and JC says again, but not that they're catching fire this time, because these are cylindrical cells. They're not prismatic or pouch where they're doing the expansion, contraction, and catching fire deal. These are just dying early. I'm wondering, did they have a similar extended warranty, or not extended warranty, but the warranty on the part? Was it similar to like on my Model S, where it's just 8 years unlimited, or were they?
I would say that it was 8 year, but it would be mileage locked as well.
Yeah, because they weren't going to do that again.
No. Yeah. But that's kind of interesting. I've now reached over 100,000 kilometers on my car.
Mhm.
It's almost 5 years old. It's going to be interesting to see how long does the battery actually last. I intend to keep the vehicle for at least 10 years. So we'll have to see if the early Model 3s run into any issues. But
That'd be interesting to see as well. Because other than the format, you and I have the same chemistry. Like yours are 2170s and mine are 18650s. But on my Model S, I had the 18650 90 cells. So they were not as strong as anything Tesla's ever made. And I did get a new pack at the end of my second year. And on this Model X, I'm in my fifth year, and I've lost about 7 to 9% of capacity, but it's still kicking strong.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of vehicles, of course, heading into that. I don't know, a sunset period. We're going to certainly. Everybody's lost a little degradation as time has gone on, but the question is, will we get the longevity of, maybe 15 years compared to 10, which is what I'm hoping for. Obviously, I'd like longevity.
The original, then maybe we will too. Oh, a friend of mine's got the Bolt, and they finally finally scheduled to replace his battery, and he's like, "Oh, just when I'm getting ready to change out." I'm like, that's actually a selling point for the new owner. Say, hey, brand new battery installed 1 month ago or whatever the date is, and now
you've got the warranty too. You got the new warranty that comes with that battery.
Yep. And then they know that all the miles are them, so they don't got to worry about if he went on trips or anything like that. And same thing goes with these Teslas. Like when I sold my Model S, I was like, hey, it's got a 2-month battery, and the new owner appreciated that.
Yep. Absolutely. Speaking of appreciation, we appreciate Giga Berlin because they've got a new record. What is that, Casey?
Yeah, so there were some photos released after along with this announcement. There were some folks on Twitter saying, "Hey, Giga Berlin hits 5,000 cars a week," but like many YouTubers and bloggers, if there wasn't a photo available, you tend to make one. And this person did was they took the 4,000 a week photo that we had last month
previously. Yep.
It wasn't that long ago. It was like at the end of February, right?
Yep.
And so they just changed the 4 to a 5. And then shortly after that, Tesla released a short video, and then they had their own photo with a nice big bold 5K in like cyberpunk text. And so then like at that point it's like you can't say it's a fraud now because Tesla's saying it. So in just from the end of March, end of February to the middle end of March, another 1,000 cars a week. This is incredible. So David, when you said 2.2 mil, I think you're on.
Yeah, it's certainly a plus, and of course, 2 weeks ago we saw the notes that Berlin is applying for permits to go beyond what they had originally built the factory for, the number of units built, actually 4 times the amount. So that is. I'm not surprised. The Model Y is reaching new heights in sales every week, and of course, it just seems every vehicle they make is being sold. So Europe is a lot of people to buy vehicles from. So it's certainly great to see that those cars are being sold quickly, and production is trying to catch up to sales. There's a lot more people still on waiting lists for the vehicle. Although those lists have come down in time, you're no longer waiting 6 months. But just recently here in North America, the list went up in time. So it's a balancing act all the time. They're balancing as to supply and demand and what the public is ordering. So very cool. Next story I wanted to touch upon was this new battery story from CATL. CATL announced that they have produced a new battery to them called the M3P.
Oh.
That's kind of confusing. MP3.
You're not going in an M3P.
Sounds a lot like Model 3 performance, but it's
Right.
not. This is like a CATL name. But the story is tied to Tesla because Tesla said that they would be taking this new battery and installing it in vehicles. The newness of this battery, I guess the advantage of this new battery is that it's more energy dense than the current CATL LFP battery. So this LFP is 15% more dense than the current one, and it's going to be, I guess, certainly in the name of batteries and advancements. You want a more dense battery because that equals less weight and less battery to get the same distance or range out of them. So it's not a surprise that they're working on making those batteries better. In fact, I know that Patrick has often said that the march of battery improvements is basically about 5% a year, and it is CATL has gone 15%. But they haven't had an update now for over a year. So this is it's a little bit of a extra beyond that 5% that is typically mapped out. But that's great news. Again, all these battery advancements for Tesla helps us all, because as consumers, that will eventually lower the price of these cars and make them more affordable. It'll also give them the ability to put batteries in smaller packages, which could be a new model. That would be smaller and cheaper. So that's a plus. Can't go wrong there.
Especially if it's still as durable and resistant to abuse as the originals, where you keep them at 100% all the time, drain them to zero, and bring them back. Yeah, that's exciting.
Exactly.
Anything on CyberTruck this week?
Yeah, there was a ton of news. Well, a ton of videos about CyberTruck this week. So let me get this quick little video that was, I believe, shared by the Kilowatts, which, of course, he is trolling the factory like no other.
Yes. He doesn't use a drone army, but he still
uses his car.
Yeah.
And he's always driving around the factory. Not the factory. This would
headquarters.
Be, of course, headquarters in Palo Alto. Yeah. So we can share this video.
It doesn't hurt that he used to work there, so he probably knows a little bit about their schedule than any normal person.
So let me get this full screen. So we caught it leaving one of the exits, and then get a load of the steering on this thing when he gets it right here. It gets around this corner and then makes a quick couple back and forths, and then turns into the driveway.
Yep.
Boom.
And then you can see the wheel straighten out as he straightens out. So that's the more proof of the four-wheel steering.
Right.
Even though the camera is real shaky. And then right there too.
And of course, the back wheels don't turn as much as the front wheels. They turn a much smaller amount. But and even when he's doing this last little shake before he turns into the driveway right here.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing. That's agile.
Yes.
Although it is kind of shaking too. Like the frame is certainly, the whole body is rolling a little bit.
Right. But also when you notice that U-turn, he does it, and then Ryan follows him. So that means that the CyberTruck is able to do a U-turn in the same or better space than a Model Y can do it in.
Yeah.
My Model X can't do that, and it's bigger than the Model X. Like every parking lot that's not Texas size is a 2 to 3 motion reverse into the spot.
Texas size. That's pretty cool, though. That's it's great to see this. It's out on the road now. They are making tests, obviously, as they get closer and closer to production. They want to make sure that they can iron out everything that they can on the vehicle it's going to be used this way in the wild, that's for sure. So best to iron out whatever you can before production rolls. Yeah. So there's somebody else that replied to this particular video, and they showed a mold full of Jello shaking. Just they were indicating that it was rolling around a little bit like a plate full of Jello.
Right. So David Watts points out that the turning radius on the Y is not good. David Guthrie says that he hopes that there's no long-term suspension issues with the rear turning hardware. If they didn't get the guys who did the Model X to do it, I think they'll be fine. Or if the Model X people learn their lesson, it'll be fine. Because it's only moving up to 15 degrees, so it should still be kind of within where you might expect it to be. That's the way I feel this thing should be. Other than the massive amount of travel it can do over. The regular Tesla was like 10 inches from max to lowest, and this one does significantly more than that. On the Model X, they reduced with one of the updates we got. They reduced the amount of travel. I actually made a video on that trying to compare.
I hope it's locked in really well, because if it's not, then can you imagine the headache of trying to align for tires and such? Like those tires aren't going to be cheap to begin with, no. And if they're wearing because the alignment's off, that will be an extra expense that nobody will want to see. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, but there's a slight benefit to that. I noticed that whenever my car does get in alignment and they don't do it quite right and the wheel is not straight, like the car knows the wheel's not straight. It'll show it in all the pictures. Like the autopilot wheel is not straight. Like, look, the car knows it's not straight. Let's fix this thing.
Yeah. Do you know of any other truck that has four-wheel steering like that?
There were two versions of GMs that had it. So you had a electric version like this. Well, actually four now. Three versions of GMs now. So you got the Hummer EV.
Yeah.
But prior to that, you had a older GMC Sierra and certain Silverados that had it electrically. And then just before them, they had it hydraulically, which was interesting.
You mean bad?
Well, just like your automatic transmission is a hydraulic computer, basically. And now do that with your steering in the back.
Yeah.
So when it's in tune, it's great, and when it's not, it's like
it's really bad.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. Is this going to be mechanical? Is this?
This is electric. But the one thing about both of those GMs, not the Hummer, but the other two, I don't think that they had height adjustment, whereas the Hummer does have height adjustment. And of course, every Tesla but the 3NY has had it either there or optional, excluding the Roadster too, of course.
David, you got a good point. Yes, it will actually reduce tire wear if the alignment's fine. Well, we're talking about if the alignment goes off, and then of course you're wearing for every time the tire rotates, there could be an extra wear on it if it's not aligned properly. So,
or if it's scuffing sideways, or
if it's aligned,
got too much toe,
it'll be fine, and it'll help tire wear. There's Tesla introducing something new like this. They're going to find out.
But the good thing is it's on all of them, so they have every incentive to get it right the first time, as well as if anything comes up to fix it. It's not like, oh, that's on some feature that only 10,000 people ordered. We can deal with them. They're legacy now.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is it a nightmare if someone damages the alignment on their own? Like they hit a curb or it slid on some ice and bounced off something. It's got to be able to be fixed, economically. It's got to be something that can be fixed without an arm and a leg in cost, and can be fixed reliably as well. So those are all questions that we'll have to answer over time.
Definitely. The other beauty of it is that this is drive-by-wire in the rear. So there's a chance that the computer could just, like, if it's off by just a little bit, like they could have some play in there where the computer can self-align to some degree if it's in the steering directions.
Well, yeah,
that's
a good point, because of course with Tesla being able to monitor a lot of the stats of the car on the fly, even your wheel size and how much air you've got in the tires, those type of things. hopefully they've got that type of technology built into this as well, and could make maybe micro adjustments based on what feedback it's getting from the tire itself, or the the actual linkage system. So those are questions, but they're going to learn quickly, because there's going to be a whole lot of Cybertrucks on the road. So there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be interested in making sure that this is done right, and is going to work in the long term. Well, with that, I think we've come to the end of the episode, the 300th episode, and certainly we want to thank everybody that's been with us along this journey. We hope to continue with more as time goes along. So stick with us. The best thing you can do for us is give us a thumbs up in the video. If you haven't registered yet, please register, press that subscribe. That's the second best thing you can do for us. And the third is, send a link out to the show to someone that you know is interested in Tesla, and help spread the word. That would be fantastic. We would really appreciate that.
So David Watts is asking about the parking. So on the last update, prior to the one I'm running now, the parking came back more reliably, like that it shows up. And then on this version, it's actually gone back to like, it works just as well as it ever has as far as showing up and actually doing the thing. It's a lot smoother in the way that it turns the wheel, but it still is slow, and it still does the multi-point movements even when you got a wide open parking lot where it's just you. So it'll go forward and pull back. Like, I even lined it up perfectly for a one motion. It'll still do the two motion. Why? And it's still to the point where if you're in a lot where you're going to find some people just running up on you with no patience, it's best to just do it manually, because if you interrupt it, it goes to park. If it gives up, it goes to park. And in fact, the last time I used it today, it gave up, and I had lined it up and it went out of alignment, and to go to the two motion, and then as it's like entering the space, it's like, I give up. You do it. Like, all you have to do is go backwards for 10 feet now. But it's in there, and and you're able to actually activate it reliably now, unlike on previous versions like 10.69 or whatever.
So Casey, with the update that you've received, do you feel it's been a step forward?
It's overall, overall, yes. Like the 10.69 family couldn't handle this city, Charleston, very well, and the V11s are doing quite all right. And but again, that varies by city, because I found that certain cities in North Carolina were just fine, and certain cities in Virginia were just as terrible as this, and others were okay. And so when you see those people that comment on every Elon post, I'm like, oh, Elon, you're so great, you can't do anything wrong. When they say they didn't have to update the or didn't have to interfere with the car, they may be telling the truth. Not, and I'm saying they're not calling them liars. I'm saying they might not be exaggerating at all. That might literally be their experience based on where they drive.
Yeah, there's a big difference between, say, Phoenix and Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah. It's drier. The paint might actually be there.
6 lanes on each side. Yeah, it's
less
a big
potholes.
difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have this like Jacqueline Hyde cartoonist like Bugs Bunny switch when it goes on the highway or off the highway like it used to. Now that it's single stack, like my car would literally, the wheel would twitch and it would pause, and like it was like what was the orange monster?
Like you were rebooting on the fly.
Yes. You don't gotta shake the wheel, just hold it where you were while you change personalities, and so now it's the same control all the way through, so it's a lot smoother, and the motions it makes, like as it's changing lanes, or if it aborts a lane change, it doesn't just yank you back and forth. It still do that motion, but it's like a human would do. It's got a little bit of smoothness to it. The way it turns and handles curves. I would say overall I like it, but it does still do some stupid stuff like, hey, you need to make a left. Let's get in the far right turning lane. Come on now.
Yeah, exactly. And wait till the last minute to get over to the left. Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's the turn into this hotel is actually a no left turn. Like it's got what would be the suicide lane, but there's not the dashes where you can actually use it. They're just both solid. And so 10.69 would just roll it. It saw it wasn't supposed to, and it's like, and then it just goes. this one, it sees it, it thinks about it, and then it goes like it doesn't know where to go, so it just goes around the block till it finds somewhere it can turn. So in that case, what I was doing was I was just taking it over, and I'm like, this is near a jail, near a police department. Let me just come around the other way from now on. The car is right in this case.
Let me just override it. That's it. It's coming out.
Yeah. I did that this afternoon because I forgot to take the other exit, and it was rush hour. I'm like, I'm not going to go back to fight.
I'm not going to do that dance again. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I treated it like a suicide lane because there was traffic coming, and then after it cleared, I went over. And I don't know what their plan was when they engineered the traffic flow on this particular road. There's like no way to get from one side of the street to the other, and there's like a DMV and everything on it. It's ridiculous.
Well, with that, Casey, you got any shout outs? What's happening Sunday?
Yeah, so Sunday at 1:10 p.m. Eastern, I've got a show at youtube.com at Casey Green. And if you like this, we do this, but we don't have a time limit. So just whenever the stories are done, whenever you guys are done chatting with me. And sometimes we have folks on. Mark's joined a couple times, and we just have people just show up in the middle of the show. And it's a blast. And so we talk about Tesla, green living, solar, and a little bit of technology. And I love to do recalls from everybody, particularly the stuff that we do, like EVs, hybrids, plugins. But if it's bad enough, you'll see me do a fossil recall. Or if it's after something has happened and the fossil people are like, we never have a recall, and I pull up, here's this new Ford recall where all the steering wheels are falling off.
I don't want to alarm you, Casey, but I think you have a poltergeist in your house because there's a chair that's moving behind you on its own.
Yeah, this baby is treating the chair like a walker, despite that she's got an actual. Actually, you can see the walker over my shoulder, the orange thing.
She doesn't want to use the walker. She wants to use a chair. Get her a box. That's all she wants.
Get her a box and some tape. You're good.
There you go. There you go. We also like to let you know that carswithcords.net is Patrick's blog. Check that out, and you can see his writings every week. Well, whenever he puts up a post, a couple times a month, I'm sure. But with that, I think we'll wrap it up. We'll say goodnight to all. Thank you so much for joining us. Come back next Wednesday, and together we will find out what's happening in the Tesla life.
Guess who else has been here for almost every show? Mr. Lee Moon.
Mr. Lee Moon. Thank you, sir. Have yourselves a great week.